When I was younger, until I was about 16, I played the violin. And when I started university, I met a crowd of guys who used to go to the West End Cafe to hear the jazz that was on there. And Sandy Brown, of course, was part of that. And it came to a stage where Sandy couldn't get a bass player. The guy whom he had as a bass player, he wasn't very good. Used to play with gloves on. And my friend Jimmy Gavin said, "Oh, you used to play the violin, didn't you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, double bass is just the same. So get one and you'll join the band." So I bought my bass, £20 it cost me. I've just got rid of it for a slightly larger sum of money than that. I won't say what, because it might embarrass the new owner if he sees it and it reminds him. So, and I was self-taught. I got a lot of help from Stan Gregg, who was the pianist with Sandy at the time, because he was a good pianist, and he gave me ideas for playing thirds and fifths and so on, you know. And I joined the band. Originally, I didn't go on gigs with them until Sandy decided, in his wisdom, that I could, you know. So from then on, I played with them all through the 1951 up to 54. West End Cafe, jazz band balls, and the Friday nights when we used to play at the Oddfellows Hall in Forest Road, which was great, nice wild nights, you know. We used to meet at lunchtime in Paddy's Bar in Rose Street, and we left at 3 o'clock after having had a few pints, and we went down to, there was a rehearsal room that belonged to the Edinburgh Brass Band in Hanover Street, and Sandy had got the use of it, so we used to rehearse there from 3 till 5 and then back up to Paddy's again, unless we had a gig in the evening. So that was great fun, yeah. Hard work, and it was, but good fun, because he was a hard taskmaster, Sandy. He was the leader, yeah. He and next to him, Al, who was a fabulous trumpeter as well. Doesn't get as much recognition for his musical talent and ability as Sandy does, but that's just one of these things, you know. But Sandy called the shots. He said what we were going to play and so on. And I've always said to people that it never bothered me about swinging. You know, jazz is all about swing. And if you played with Sandy Brown, you swung. That was it. He just, as soon as he started blowing, the whole place would take off, you know, that beat was there. Just great. I was at university at the time, started off studying classics, changed to law, and 54 I had to go and do my national service. So I was out of jazz for a couple of years, and when I came back, I played with Charlie McNair's band for several years, and latterly I played with Dave Keir, who had one of the most wonderful quintets in and around Edinburgh for a long time, you know. But he's moved away, gone down south, and he's even older than me, so a fading star, you might say. The Edinburgh scene, there were basically two bands. There was Sandy's band, and there was oh gosh, the other clarinet player, Dave Keir. Not Dave Keir, sorry, Archie Semple. Two bands, and they were known as playing Dixieland, and we played more like the real black jazz from Chicago and New Orleans in the 1920s and 30s. And there was a rivalry, but it wasn't a hostile rivalry. I think it was more the fans than the musicians, because the two clarinetists, they were great pals, you know. I mean, they made recordings together down in London. Latterly, after I came out of the army, I did a tour with Al's band after he and Sandy had parted ways for a while, and that was good fun. You know, sleeping on the floor in dance halls, because you didn't get very much money out of it. When I was playing with the Brown Band, they were very like Louis' Hot Five. Al played like a copy of Louis, and Sandy was very much Johnny Dodds. After they moved to London, they both changed gradually, going away from their original role models and really developing their own style and way of playing. I heard Ray Brown, and that was it for me, you know. I've never heard anything like it. I put it, if you talk in football terms, he was in the first division and I was down about the third division, you know. And never would I get up there, but you can worship your idols. His playing is just so challenging and, you know, fills you with enthusiasm for playing. We went down to London to play a jazz festival, and I can remember the date vividly because it was the week of my 21st birthday. So it was the middle of July 1953. We had a great couple of weeks down there, played all the clubs, did a concert in the Royal Festival Hall, which was wonderful, because I've never heard my bass sounding so nice as it did on that incredible sounding floor, you know. It was good. And I've got a nice story too about the banjo player, Norrie Anderson. Because the bands who were playing were limited to a 9-minute slot, that was a minute on, 9 minute and off, Sandy put together 3 King Oliver numbers with a bridge that he wrote and played in between. Norrie broke a string during the first one, and he changed his string so quick that by the time we got into the third number, he was up in tune and playing again, which is super, you know. Mostly with the Brown Band, played in Edinburgh. We went through to Glasgow, Clyde Valley Stompers. They used to come through to the Stud Club and play, and then we would go through to their venue as a guest and play there. I can still play the bass, but getting around with it is just impossible. So I've decided to give up. So I've retired at the age of 85, the oldest jazz bass player in Scotland. I've handed on the cap for that to our good friend Ronnie Ray, who's one of the bass players in Scotland. I played mostly with Dave Keir. We had a quartet and then he made it a quintet. And we played around Edinburgh, the Borders, wherever we could get gigs. And we used to practice once a week in the banjo player's flat. That's Jock Westwater, lives down Frederick Street. We're down there, a couple of bottles of wine, and get through some numbers. And I was speaking to one of the band, Bob Busby, downstairs, and he was saying he still thrills to listen to the CDs that were made with that band, you know.